You are not lazy, you are malfunctioning. Let's get that straight before we begin. Picture yourself sitting in the dark, the blue light of your phone illuminating a face that looks older than it should. You know exactly what you need to do right now. The list of tasks is screaming in the back of your mind, but your body feels heavy, as if gravity has doubled just for you. You tell yourself you are just tired, or maybe you are burned out. You lie to yourself that you will do it tomorrow when you feel better. But tomorrow comes and you feel exactly the same. This is not a character flaw. This is a biological mechanism working perfectly to destroy your potential. Your brain is not designed for greatness. Your brain is designed for survival. It is an ancient machine built to conserve energy and keep you safe in a cave. It views hard work, risk, and discomfort as threats to your existence. So it floods your system with chemicals to keep you seated, sedated, and safe. We call this limbic friction. It is the psychological drag that pulls you back into mediocrity every time you try to step forward. If you listen to this voice, you will survive. But you will live a life of quiet desperation and you will die full of regret. Most men spend their entire lives fighting this battle with the wrong weapons. They try to use motivation, but motivation is a feeling, and feelings are fickle. They try to use willpower, but willpower is a battery that runs out. Today, we are going to stop fighting fair. I am not here to give you a pep talk. I am here to hand you the source code to override your own biology. We are going to dismantle the operating system that keeps you weak. We are going to replace it with a protocol that makes discipline your default setting. For the next 15 minutes, put down your distractions. This is not entertainment. This is a system reboot. Here's exactly how to force your brain to crave doing the hard things. Protocol number 1 is recognizing the neurosabotage. You need to understand the war taking place inside your skull right now. There are two commanders fighting for the controls of your body. The first is the prefrontal cortex. This is the CEO of your brain. It handles logic, long-term planning, and your vision of the future. It is the part of you that wants to build a business, get in shape, and leave a legacy. The second commander is the limbic system. This is the lizard brain. It only cares about right now. It wants pleasure, it wants comfort, and it wants to avoid pain at all costs. When you hesitate to do a hard task, it is because the limbic system has hijacked the controls. It whispers that you can wait 5 minutes. It tells you to check your notifications just one more time. And because you are biologically hardwired to seek dopamine, you obey. Most people wait for the limbic system to agree with the prefrontal cortex. They wait to feel like it. Let me tell you the brutal truth. You are never going to feel like doing something that forces you to evolve. Evolution is painful. So you must stop waiting for motivation and start using a technique I call visualizing failure. Positive visualization is dangerous. If you sit there imagining yourself driving the expensive car or holding the trophy, your brain releases a premature hit of dopamine. It tricks you into feeling like you have already achieved the goal, so you lose the drive to work for it. Instead, I want you to visualize the alternative. Close your eyes and see yourself 5 years from now if nothing changes. See the weakness in your body. See the disappointment in the eyes of the people who depended on you. Feel the crushing weight of knowing you wasted your potential. Make that image so vivid, so terrifying, that it makes you sick to your stomach. Your limbic system wants to avoid pain, so use that against it. Make the pain of staying the same greater than the pain of doing the work. Fear is a far more potent fuel than hope. Protocol number 2 is pain reframing. We need to talk about a specific part of your brain called the Anterior Mid-Cingulate Cortex. Neuroscientists have found that this area is the seat of your will to live. In people who are obese or depressed, this area is shrunken and weak. In high-performance athletes and survivors, this area is thick and robust. But here's the secret. This area only grows when you do things that you do not want to do. If you love running and you go for a run, that area does not grow. It only grows when you hate running, but you lace up your shoes anyway. This is the biological basis of the callus concept. When you work with your hands, the skin tears and bleeds. But when it heals, it comes back thicker and harder. It becomes a callus. Your mind works the exact same way. Pain is not a signal to stop. Pain is the signal that you are entering the growth zone. The moment your brain starts screaming, I can't do this, or this is too hard, you need to reframe that signal. That is not a warning. That is the feeling of your anterior mid-cingulate cortex getting bigger. You need to develop a new relationship with suffering. Stop trying to optimize your life for comfort. Comfort is the enemy of the warrior. When you feel resistance, I want you to use the suck embrace. Say it out loud if you have to. Say good. This is supposed to hurt. This is the price of admission. By verbally acknowledging the pain and choosing it anyway, you move the control back to the prefrontal cortex. You stop being a victim of the difficulty and become the master of it. You are building mental armor that nothing can penetrate. Protocol number 3 is the ignition switch. The hardest part of any task is the first 3 minutes. In physics, there is a concept called activation energy. It takes significantly more energy to push a stationary car than it does to keep a moving car rolling. The same applies to your workflow. The moment you think about a hard task, your brain calculates the energy required and slams on the brakes. This is where the sniper count comes in. You have likely heard of counting down, but you are doing it wrong. You count down like you are waiting for a rocket launch, hoping that at 0, you will magically feel ready. That never happens. You need to treat the countdown like a sniper pulling a trigger. There is no emotion in it. It is a mechanical action. When you know you need to move, you cut off the internal dialogue immediately. Do not give your brain a single second to negotiate. You say 3, 2, 1, and on 1 you move your body. You do not think about the whole project. You just stand up. You just open the document. You just put on one shoe. Action kills overthinking. You cannot think your way into a new way of acting. You must act your way into a new way of thinking. Once you start moving, the limbic friction disappears. The anxiety vanishes because you have crossed the threshold of activation energy. You will find that once you start, it is actually harder to stop than it was to begin. But you have to force that ignition. You have to be willing to be a robot for those 3 seconds. Ignore your feelings. Trust the mechanics. Protocol number 4 is the micro-war. You cannot flip a switch and become disciplined if the rest of your life is soft. You are training your brain to be weak 23 hours a day and then expecting it to be strong for 1 hour at the gym. It does not work like that. You need to introduce micro-stressors into your daily routine. These are small, controlled acts of discomfort that keep your willpower blade sharp. Start your day with a cold shower, not because it is good for your skin, but because your brain will scream no. It will beg for the warm water, and every morning you look at that knob and you turn it to cold anyway. You are training your brain to obey you when it is scared. Implement a digital fast for the first hour of the morning. No scrolling, no checking emails, no dopamine hits. Sit in the silence. The boredom you feel is actually your brain resetting its dopamine baseline. When you remove the cheap entertainment, hard work becomes less boring. Take the stairs instead of the elevator. Park your car at the back of the lot. Fast for 16 hours even when you are hungry. These seem like small things, but they are acts of war against your lower self. Each time you choose the harder path, you're casting a vote for the person you want to become. You are telling your limbic system that it is no longer in charge. Victory is not won in one giant battle. Victory is won by 1,000 small cuts to your own weakness. If you win the micro-wars throughout the day, the big battles become easy. Protocol number 5 is the identity override. This is the most powerful tool in your arsenal. The reason you struggle is because your current identity is tied to your failures. You tell yourself, I am a procrastinator, or I am not a morning person. As long as you hold on to that story, your brain will fight to make it true. Psychology calls this cognitive consistency. We act in ways that align with who we believe we are. So, we are going to use the Batman effect. This is a legitimate psychological strategy used to detach from performance anxiety. You need to create an alter ego. When you step into the arena of work, you are no longer you. You are the machine. Create a trigger that switches you into this mode. Maybe it is putting on a specific pair of headphones. Maybe it is a specific playlist. Maybe it is clearing your desk. When that trigger happens, the old you ceases to exist. The machine does not have feelings. The machine does not need to feel inspired. The machine has a function, and it executes that function until the job is done. When you are in this mode, you view fatigue simply as data, not as a reason to quit. You view distractions as system errors to be eliminated. This allows you to separate your emotional baggage from your execution. You can be depressed, anxious, or tired, but the machine still works. It liberates you from the tyranny of your own mood. Practice this shift. Step into the role. Fake it until it becomes your reality. Eventually, the mask will become your face, and the discipline will become your nature. Now let's bring this all together. You have the protocols. You understand the neuroscience. You know that your brain is trying to sabotage you to keep you safe and small. You know that pain is the signal for growth in your anterior mid-cingulate cortex. You have the 3-second trigger to override hesitation. You have the micro-stressors to sharpen your will. And you have the identity shift to separate yourself from your weakness. But information alone changes nothing. Insight without action is just another form of procrastination. You can click off this video and go back to scrolling. You can go back to being the man who knows what to do, but never does it. You can let your biology dictate your destiny. Or you can decide right now that the war ends today. The next time you feel that resistance, the next time your brain begs you to take the easy way out, you're going to smile. Because now you know what that feeling is. It is the enemy revealing its position. And you have the weapons to destroy it. Do not wait for tomorrow. Tomorrow's a lie that weak men tell themselves to feel better about their failure today. There is only now. There is only the choice right in front of you, comfort or growth, stagnation or evolution, the slave or the master. The choice is yours to make, every single second of every single day. If you are ready to kill the old version of yourself, I want you to make a public declaration. Go to the comments and write one simple phrase. I am the machine. Do not write it if you do not mean it. Do not write it if you are going to quit tomorrow. Write it as a contract with yourself. The video ends here, but your work is just beginning. Go execute.